And the last lesson we're going to learn in this little series on our electrical duplex receptacle with all our little tips and tricks that we've learned is just a tip on getting the electrical device to show up in a floor plan when it's sitting outside of the view range. So this lesson you can apply to other aspects of using REVIT in families and view ranges and stuff like that. So what happens here is we're in a floor plan. We've got all of our little receptacles stuck to the wall. So let's just go to a 3D view and look at that. So if we look in there, we've got a linked architectural model. No, it's not linked. It's just set to be discipline electrical, which is why this is faded and transparent. But there's all of our little devices on there. So if you look at this, it says it's at, elevation 4 feet. So it's 4 feet off the ground, etc. And then these are all showing up. And they're all showing up at this point in our power floor plan because they're all more or less within the view range. So within this view, if I go down here to the view and I go to the properties and say view range, it's going to tell me that just so happens in this template file, the cut plane is 4 feet above the level. The top of the primary range is at the level above, so it goes all the way up to the next level. So it really captures everything between floor to floor. But sometimes we don't want to set our view range up quite so high. This is a good height to cut it at. That's normal, and we can play with that number. The bottom is okay because the receptacles don't go down below that, so they'll always be visible. But what happens is sometimes we want to lower, for whatever reason, the top of our primary range. So instead of going up to level 2, we set it to be level 1, plus maybe, 6'6", let's just say, and hit apply. Okay? At this point, nothing's disappearing because everything is still within that. So let's just hit OK on this. So take note of the cut plane is at 4 feet. This is at 6'6". Okay, let's round this off and make it a nice round number, just 6 feet. Okay? So now let's hit OK. So now let's look at a south elevation over here. Click, click. Okay, zoom in. There's my wall, and there's all my little devices. Okay, so I'm going to pick this guy right here. It's at 4 feet, and if I want to know the dimension, let's do a dimension from here to the center is at about 4 feet. So that one's definitely going to show up because the cut plane goes right through there. Let's zoom out and draw a couple reference planes here. Let's go to architecture and reference plane, and let's draw, because we know this is at 4 feet, we might as well snap right to it. Click there, escape, escape. Take this guy and pull that reference plane over, and I'm going to take this dimension actually, and I'm going to move it. I've dragged that grip point, and I'm going to move it over to here. Pick. Okay, now it's actually dimensioning to the reference line and not the switch on the wall or the outlet. Good. Now I'm going to draw another reference plane. Well, I'm going to click this and use my control button and just drag it up to be, 6 feet. So I've used the control button to drag that up. And let's pick on here and say create similar. Put another dimension from here to here. Bang, bang, boom. Okay. So imagine our cut plane is at 4 feet. And the top of our primary range is there at 6 feet. Okay, so watch. I'm going to tile my views. I'm going to go view, and I'm going to say tile. Oh, I've got all kinds of views open. Let's go back to my floor plan, which is this guy. And let's go to, I want to say close hidden. Let's just do something in here. Let's maximize that, and let's say close hidden. And I'm just setting up my tiling views. Floor plan and close hidden again, and one more time the south elevation, and now I can tile. So I had to get down to 2 views. Oh, I have the family open here. I don't want to have that open. Let's close that and let's tile again. So all I'm doing is setting up my views. There we go, finally. You get the 2 or 3 views you want, and then you hit the tile button. But I had the family file open in the background there, so I just closed it off. So now the south elevation, if we pick on here, okay, and I pick on this guy, you'll see it highlight over here. Click. There it is. Now, watch as I nudge it upward. Okay, let's actually pick on it in this view instead, or move over. Now, all I had to do is make that view, and as I move this up, look at the floor plan. Okay, up it goes, and eventually this over here is going to disappear. Boom, gone. Okay, click out. So sometimes, whatever the motive is, your view range is set to have a cut plane here and maybe a primary top over there. But I mean, this can be way up here. Who knows if it's a TV plug-in for, you know, in a lunchroom or boardroom or a security cam or something, who knows what. We have a device that's sitting up high. It doesn't even have to be an outlet. Could be any sort of data device or something. As I take this, okay, and this, by moving this doesn't change my primary range, but right now that's where it's at. So if I go in this view and go to my view range over here, there's my 4 feet and there's my 6 feet. Okay, and this is basically illustrating where those 2 points are. So again, watch as I take this guy down, and I'll nudge it with my arrow keys. Watch on the right. All of a sudden, bink, it's going to show up. There it is. So now the challenge is, what if shift, and I'm using a shift click, what if this guy is up here, way up here, and this does have to be here, and I want it to show? What we have to do is add an imaginary model line, an invisible model line in here that sticks down like a stem, and as long as that imaginary line sits within here, all of a sudden it'll show up. It'll never show anywhere because it'll be invisible, but it will get captured by the view range and therefore show up. So watch how we do this. Doesn't matter, these are all the same family. I pick on here and I say edit the family. And I don't have to go into the annotation nested family this time. I can double click on here and I can just go to my regular floor plan view of this. And the first thing I'm going to do is my put in my reference planes as usual. So I'm going to say create and reference plane. Put a reference plane in down here somewhere. Okay. Put a dimension in from the center to let's go from the bottom of the box instead. What the heck? To here, and then click. Am I using the right dimension here? From there to here. Oh, the dimension's there, but they're turned off. Ah, the oldest trick in the book. So type VV on the keyboard. It gets me every time. Visibility graphics, annotation. My dimensions are turned off in this family. Hit OK. On they go. Okay, so do it again. Dimension from the underside of the box to here and place it. Escape, escape. Now I'm going to take this guy and turn it into a parameter and say add a parameter. And inside of there, I'll call it, cut plane stem 2, because I already have a stem in there because I was just testing things. I want it to be instance, so I want to be able to do it on any individual object, and I want to group it under the General tab. Okay, hit OK. In the meantime, I'm going to do some housekeeping in here. I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to grab the one I was practicing with here so we don't get confused. Cut plane stem, this one here, and say remove. Yes. So this is the new one here, and I'm going to take this one now, modify, and rename that to be what the old name was. Hit OK. There we go. A little bit of maintenance there. Hit OK. Now, what do I want the value to be? The default value, I should probably set that in there, and I should probably set the default value to be only about, like 6 inches. Not very long, just a little wee little stem. Hit apply. Oh, constraints are not satisfied. Cancel. What happens if we go to something like 4 feet? Doesn't like that, eh? Escape, escape. I think what I'm going to do is take this dimension, drag it to the center point. Let's try that instead. Turn this into a parameter. Cut plane stem. There we go. Click out. Now let's see if we can flex that value back to be 6 inches. Hit apply. There we go. So I've just dimensioned it from this reference plane instead of the bottom of the box. So that's the default value. Good. Hit OK. And now I need to draw the invisible model line. So I'm going to zoom in here. Okay, type TL on the keyboard for thin lines. That's why my line work is so thin. And inside of here, I'm going to go create model line. And I'm going to make sure this says invisible line. Okay, I probably want to check my work plane by going in here and saying set and checking to see that, I'm on the right reference level work plane, which is good. And I'm going to go back again, pick my model line, pick my invisible line. I'm just going to draw a line that goes from here down to that reference plane. Click out, and I could just pick on that lock, but my chain is turned on, so it'll disappear. So how you do it after the fact, escape, escape. You can align endpoints to reference planes. I just say align to here. That little guy, you might have to use your tab key, lock it, click out, escape, escape. Now let's flex it and see if it works. Go back to my parameters, go to my cut plane length and set it to be 2 feet. Hit apply, moves my reference plane, moves my invisible line down. Let's set it back to be 6 inches. Oh, not 6 feet. 6 inches. It may be 6 feet if we're in a really high ceiling situation. Click on here, looks good. Let's save it. Replace the old one. Let's load it into our project. Overwrite the version. Okay. And there, this guy comes back all of a sudden. So let's close all our extra views right now, and then let's go to our south elevation. And now let's do our tile. Okay. Let's close the family off so we can tile and get a little bit more space. There we go. Click in here. Zoom, zoom. Okay. There's our guy right there. And I don't know why it looks like it's set to be 6 feet, but I'm going to zoom into here and watch. We'll do a little demonstration. Okay. So our cut plane hasn't changed. It's in this floor plan and it's at 4 feet up to 6 feet. Here's our device, and right now that cut plane stem is set to be 5'8". I'm not sure why it reset that, but let's set that back to be just 1 foot. And then all of a sudden click out and it disappears from here because it doesn't go down. Now, because we're looking at this in an elevational view and it's an instance parameter, I can actually grab this and watch what happens when I get past that 6 foot line. Oh, I'm right on it. Boom, just past it. Click out. All of a sudden it shows up. Click out and you'll never see it, nor will you see it in a 3D view. So what we've done is we've added an invisible model line from the bottom of our device and made it an instance parameter so that we can then play with this. So now let's go back to here and let's make our pick in here, and we want to go down to demonstrate a bit further view range. Now I'm going to set my view range to be down to, say 3 feet at the cut plane, and set this to be at 5 feet for whatever reason. Maybe it's a crawl space, who knows what. Hit apply. Okay, so 3 feet and 5 feet. Click out. So now let's pretend this is where our cut plane is. We'll set this to be 3 feet. Pick on here. We'll set, I need to, here we go, 5 feet. Click out, and there's our device. So I can move the device down by nudging it and watch what happens on the right as it comes into play. Boom, crosses, and all of a sudden it's a little delayed there. It's going to show up. Click out. So I can take this, I can set the elevation of it to be here. That sets the elevation of the object, and then the cut plane stem length, which is that little leg, I can set it to be 0 if I want, and it'll it won't exist, or I can set it to be, 7 feet if I want, and pick out if it's way up, who knows, maybe it's way up here for some reason, and I still want it to show up. That's what this is for. So when something is above the view range and you still want it to show up, add an invisible line, tie it to a parameter, and then play with the numbers. So another closing tip on our great little receptacle, duplex receptacle family that has all these great options and can be viewed even when it's not within the view range of the floor plan.